everybody. This is Arthur Aday with the day in Telos. And today we have some exciting things that we're going to talk about. First of all, we're going to talk about our new and improved volunteer list. And there's a lot of people here today that are volunteering, and we're going to make sure that they're all going to be happy. Hey, we got Trish and
Larry,
that's it. And we're going to talk about some real exciting things that are happening in Redding, right?
That's right.
And around the world.
So we'll start off with the fact that what we call this is Pecha Kucha. And we'll get to what that exactly means in just a minute. But let me just tell you that Pecha Kucha is a free, fun community builder. It's actually where people show up with PowerPoint presentations, 20 slides, 20 seconds each slide, and share whatever they're passionate about. So it could be anything that they have an interest in, a hobby, just anything that they feel passionate and they'd like to share with their community. Anybody can present. So we've had 3 Pecha Kucha evenings. We haven't had any teens yet. We haven't had any children yet, but we've had lots of adults, and they come and present their slides and narrate them. We do this 4 times a year, so it's required that we do it quarterly with the people that we have a handshake agreement with, and we'll talk about that when we get to the history of Pecha Kucha. One of the main things we want to share with you today is that Pecha Kucha is not only free and fun, but it's also really good news in challenging times. So where there's a lot of really bad news and we all need to be fearful and scared about the economy or whatever, this is really something that is just positive, people sharing, and it doesn't cost any money to attend, and it doesn't cost any money to present. The goal of this, and my husband created this little sound bite, is real people in a real room. So when we think about the way technology has brought us to this point in time and how important and useful that is, we also see a disconnectedness between people. And so real people in a real room is what Pecha Kucha is about.
and Arthur, the history of Pecha Kucha is kind of interesting. In fact, we're saying the word incorrectly. It's actually should be pronounced Pecha Kucha because it's Japanese.
Oh, okay.
A couple of designers who work in, I think they're Australian, but they work in Tokyo, created it by mistake. They were tired of seeing boring PowerPoint presentations, and if you've ever seen a boring PowerPoint, just
like a board meeting.
And on and on. So they said, well, let's speed it up. If you want to present something here, 20 slides. And we're going to time them, 20 seconds each. If you can't say it in 6 minutes and 40 seconds, well, then we don't want to hear from you. So it started as a business decision. And this is my guess. I don't think this is really right. They had a performance space, and I think they were sitting around with nothing to do one night. And they made up some stuff, and they put it on there and screen. Maybe they had a beer while they were doing it, and it was fun. So they started doing it more and more. 20 slides, 20 seconds each time, get on, get off. Pecha Kucha means chit-chat or chitter-chatter in Japanese, and they use that term. Oddly, this thing has gone viral. There's 350 cities around the world, I think, at this time that do this on a regular basis.
All right.
We ran into it when we were in San Luis Obispo playing at the beach. We went to a coffee shop, and it happened there. We saw these local people walk in.
Right?
First time. And Tish right away looked at me and said, we've got to do this in Redding. We just got to do it. So we came up and we contacted, we just decided to do it. We're walking around town on an art hop night and said to a friend of ours, we're going to do this at a bar or something. Well, he happens to be the person that works for Viva Downtown. He said, oh my gosh, that's what we want to do.
Oh my gosh.
So I got to tell you, we were lucky. In fact, there might be slides here of the atrium. They gave us a place to do this. This is you'll see this is a beautiful site. We perform way down at the bottom there, and up on this, people can sit up on the top, they can sit on the entrance steps, and it's a wonderful space to project it. We put up a big screen. Everything's donated by either the Downtown Business Association or Scott Valley Bank, who's also adopted us. We feed people. It's all free.
Hey.
And it's all people from the community doing it.
Here we want to go feed.
Yep, everybody loves it.
When's your next one?
Yeah, our next one is on February 4th, Friday, downtown.
Oh, I got to be down there.
Well, that'll work out perfectly.
Yeah.
It's at the south end of the downtown promenade, which used to be the old mall, very close to the Cascade. Now, there's another picture here of a site. This is a worldwide experience. So if you go on to pechakucha.org and go on to a particular site, you can see.
Learn how to spell it.
You can see right there all the cities. I don't know if you can read any of them, but in about 40 minutes, one is going to happen, and it's someplace in the world, and it keeps getting counted down. If you look at this site, Reading will appear there when it gets closer to our time, and we scroll across till we reach the top. It's so interesting that we are in there with Paris and Stockholm and New York City, and then Reading takes.
So these are different places all over the world.
All over the world, it's happening. It's really caught on.
So really, if you're traveling and you're on the road, you can just look up Pecha Kucha and see if it's happening in that city that you happen to be visiting.
Or it'll be on YouTube.
Or it'll be on YouTube. So if you're planning a trip somewhere, you could look it up and go, oh, I'm going to be in Africa in this particular city. I wonder if they have a Pecha Kucha. Oddly enough, they probably do.
Wow. I like things that are all over the world like that. That is incredible.
But as much as they're all over the world, we're the only people north of Sacramento and the Bay Area that do it in California. And that's why we consider our area, we call it Upper California, because we're in
Jefferson State.
It's not saying, yeah.
Kind of Jefferson State.
We haven't adopted Oregon yet, but we might. So
you need the magazine Jefferson State. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, we reach out to everybody anywhere near us, and we've gotten people from all over the place. We're retired right now, not working right now, and so we're able to do this. Since we made a deal with Tokyo that we wouldn't make any money, that's easy to do. We have time to do it. We got a lot of help from Enjoy Magazine down in Reading, who just really helped us find interesting people, first of all, and then I realized they're everywhere. We're just everywhere. There's interesting people. A news cafe, the online newspaper, helped us get going. Scott Valley Bank helps us print posters. So we were just adopted. I think it's such a fun event that people want to jump in and do.
Well, the 4th ought to be a really good 4th of February, right?
Yes. It's always on a Friday.
On the Friday. Well, that's good. I have to go to the hospital, do a little brain scanning.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Well, it'd be a good thing to follow that up.
Yeah, we'll follow up with some good laughter.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So at this point, I think we're going to set up an actual presentation.
Okay.
Remember, they're called 20 by 20. Tish did one of them. I've done one. We like people to do them. And this is an example. The struggle is that you have a topic, you pick 20 pictures, but there you have no control over it. So 20 seconds starts rolling.
Right.
We can actually roll that now. And Tish is going to give a presentation that she gave.
Are you ready?
At our
I'm ready.
Pecha Kucha.
I'm ready as I'm going to be. This is my presentation, so I should be ready.
You go for it, girl.
And I think one of the beauties of this is it is pretty casual. I mean, this is for your community and for yourself. So I titled it Creative Adventures, and for me, I'm an artist person, but I don't sell my art. I usually do it for my family and friends, and I've done it my whole life. I
when
never
you die, it's worth millions of dollars.
Maybe. I never considered myself an artist, but I thought, I am a creative type, and I'm always creating things, and I thought, I'm going to do the Pecha Kucha on that. And one of the reasons is I believe that we all are creative. We just don't express it.
Your right brain.
I begin with an idea, and then it becomes something else. And Pablo Picasso said that, and this is a slide of people that I just love. I mean, Pablo's in there, Lady Gaga's in there. My piece of artwork is in the bottom right-hand corner. Georgia O'Keeffe is there. And then what are my inspirations? Disneyland. I've always had a fascination with Disneyland. I'm a kid of the 50s, so yeah, duh. But also, it's all the color that's at Disneyland and all the creative aspects of it, and there's always someone evil lurking behind all the fun and the beauty. Gay pride is a big inspiration for me. I think people get polarized on, all the issues around gay.
On that. Yeah, I just
To me,
how they do go for a week.
yeah, and this is a cultural celebration like no other. So irregardless of what your position is, you can appreciate the wonder of their celebration. These are windows. The next couple of slides are windows. I love windows around Christmas time. They are completely and absolutely creative and wonderful. And this is something that I put together just with photographs from pictures, and there's some detail in there.
Collages. Wow, what's that?
This is actually paper artwork from Tiffany's jewelry store in Union Square in San Francisco. This is all made out of paper, and if you could see the detail in her dress, there are jewels hanging on the ice skater's dress, and I was just totally fascinated by that. This is another window that I played with in one of the programs that I have for art. It's just a simple Microsoft program, not expensive. And I just played a little bit with repeating the image of the window and adding some different graphics to
So
it.
that's your art.
Yeah, and
That's
a
your artwork.
photograph from my deck is the back scene.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
This is another slide from the Union Square. I can't remember which designer store this is. I played with it a little bit to bring out the arrows, to bring out what I loved about this. It was the heat of the red and the cool of the ice. And so just something that, I did and made up. This is a rose from my garden. And so you'll see how, I know, isn't that something?
You got it going.
So I take this photograph and you'll see how I begin to imagine, because it's a wonderful piece of art in and of itself. But I begin to imagine what else could it be besides this rose. So here I clip off the stem, and this is on a piece of furniture that I have in my front room, and it kind of changes the color of the rose. So now the rose isn't red, it's more of a pink.
A fuchsia?
Yeah, fuchsia. And of course the lighting has something to do with that. The background has a great deal to do with the color of it. And then in just a second, we'll move into the next slide. So this is the rose, adding some graphic art to it, and still keeping it on that piece of furniture. But now what I'm starting to see is, this could be a piece of wearable art. So this could actually be designed into a piece of clothing that a woman could wear. And I just loved it. This is me being funny. I make cookies. I bake cookies, and so my Buddha sometimes is in the cookie jar.
Oh my God, the Buddha jar.
Yeah, so it's the Buddha cookie jar, and sometimes I just have fun with my art.
I used to have a little. I had a little Buddha statue that I would hear talk to me every once in a while. I'd get into this meditation, and I hear, "I'm behind you. Hey, look at me." And I'm like, and we look at it, and I'm like, whoa.
This is a lamp base, some roses from my garden, and then obviously a piece of fabric. And just again playing with it for more of a romantic. I was looking for a romantic image for something that I was doing, and I started playing with that. I do design and do costumes for some of the local theater groups. This is my studio in black and white, and then color pictures. My husband being my model, then the actual dancers wearing some of the stuff that I designed, and the upper right hand.
You guys gone.
The upper right hand corner is my daughter. She was the Indian tiger lily in one of the plays. I didn't make these costumes, but they were doing Guys and Dolls at Reading Theater, and I put together these costumes, and it was fun for me because I think of men's fashion as being pretty, predictable and plain and all that, and trying to dress each one of these gangsters individually was a challenge, and it worked out well. For my, I have several grandsons. I'm very rich in that regard, and we have a loft in our house, and I decided to build a pirate loft for them. You can see the chain detail up on the baseboard up there, and the bottom graphic is of a wave that I would paint on the walls eventually. The red is what the base room is painted.
Wow.
And this is the pirate loft. This is my grandson Denzo with his musket. You can see the waves on the right and the netting and the ship painting that was actually a color by number that I bought at a thrift store. So, I just gather things and I go,
wow,
this
great.
looks like a pirate loft to me. Again, it's just me being constantly thoughtful about creation. And sometimes that creation turns into the backsplash in my kitchen, so that's my backsplash. Or the couple there, I made that wedding cake for them. Or making okra pickles. I mean, I'm just obsessed with creating stuff and doing things. I just can't sit
What's your
still, I
sign?
guess. Gemini.
Gemini. Do you know what your moon is in?
I don't.
No? Well, your Gemini has two different parts of you. You're twins.
That's it. This is a piece of art that I created from junk. It was a challenge down in Reading, and oh boy, I tell you, there was a picture of President Obama, and there was a bunch of keys, and there was just stuff I couldn't make sense of. And I put it together eventually after trying and trying. So this is me developing a sweets table. Scott Valley Bank offered to sponsor a sweets table, so they provide all the funding that we need for that. And then I take that funding and create something that can be presented to the public in a way that says, sweets.
Sweets
So
and money.
this was for our July show, so I kind of did a thematic thing around, summertime candy. I lived in the Middle East for a couple of years, and I'm putting together a collage. I'm still working on it. I lived in Turkey, and this is the beginning of that collage.
Wow.
Using some of the things that I brought back with me, and then other things, just textiles and photographs and things that indicate to me that particular cultural environment. And that's the end.
So what you've seen here is an example of a Pecha Kucha presentation.
And she did a good job.
And it's just, you just put up what you like, and if you're passionate about it, you'll have something to say. Some people script it out. Some people just play off the cuff. So what we wanted to do, Tish has a passion for what she does. That's why it works well.
Right.
So we've had all kinds of people, though, and we have some slides. We're not going to try to do any Pecha Kuchas right here of other people's stuff, but we want to show you a few slides from other Pecha Kucha performances, many of which came from right up here in Siskiyou County.
Wow.
So the first one that we have is in the area of comedy. Sometimes people do comedy, and Greg Pate took on the persona of Dr. Adam Baum, and he did something called Dinosaurs, Chickens, and You. And as you can see, he has actual photographs of when dinosaurs and chickens roamed the earth together. And he told us all about how the Chickadile was created, and a lot of very interesting slides. Where this is coming from in his brain, I don't know. The Tyrannosaurus Rex looks especially troublesome. And Greg just wowed everybody. And he took on a persona, too. And this was the problem with PowerPoint slides in the past. And he wanted to show us just how bad it could be. So follow that in 20 seconds.
That's great.
So one of the things we wanted to illustrate here was that you could do art, you could do comedy, you can do philosophy. So we will show a few examples of that. And the next one is of local history. And this would be by the gentleman Jerry Hendricks. Gary Hendricks of Phillips Brothers Mill. And we got the opportunity, one of the great things of being the organizers of this is we got the opportunity to go up and see the mill. These are pictures from his family, which goes back, I hate to even say, but I think it's at least 4 generations. And it was just a beautiful mill. I mean, this is a picture from the 1900s, and we got to see the actual equipment and how they're progressing into the 21st
California,
century.
the mill of the year.
Yeah, so it was beautiful. It was a great day.
Another thing we've run into is philosophy. People have ideas about how the world works, and Alex Colvin, who now moved from Baltimore and finally lives permanently up in Bernie, did something that he calls Confucianism. He's also paints. So these pictures, I'm not going to try to do his philosophy, but if you look at the pictures, you understand it has something to do with love and being and the earth and spirit and
sex
and sexuality. And he just taught us all in 6 minutes and 40 seconds, taught us about his view of the world through his pictures and his ideas. And it was quite a fun one. And of course,
here's his philosophy.
His messages to us all: live in the wow.
The Live in the now.
Yeah, live in the now, live in the wow.
Yeah.
He's one of our gurus. We just love Alex.
Well, this is really interesting because I had no idea what we were gonna find here today.
I
And
think
all you're
when
finding
people,
is people from up here. This
Yeah.
is just people bring it to us.
and I think people, when they hear Pecha Kucha, either they're turned off completely or they're a little intrigued. And one of the things that I thought when I saw the first one was, wow, I want to bring this to Northern California. And here's one of the reasons. This is the work of Lori Sturdivant, who I've gotten to know Lori, which is just great for me because she's pretty awesome. And she did a cigarette or litter butts art. So she took butts from cigarettes and turned it into art with a message.
No.
I mean, I just can't tell you how much we appreciated this one. We do try to stay away a little bit from the soap opera, so we don't want to get too much, or soap box, not soap opera. We don't want to get too much into the political, that kind of thing. We just want to share with people in our community.
And we often stress in the beginning, we don't want this to be a sales pitch. Don't try to sell
that's the other
me some
thing.
property. But on the other hand, if you're passionate about selling real estate, you could come in and somehow demonstrate that without selling.
Right.
There's no selling allowed.
We had a spoken word poet last time. She came in with her husband on bass, and he's a wonderful bass player. He may do a Pecha Kucha of his own. And her name is Connie Craver. She goes by Con Artiste. And she did a whole spoken word thing about her life. And I don't know if we have any of those pictures up, but
That's cool.
He played along with her at the time, and she did spoken word and was very entertaining as we went through it.
So what on the what time on the 4th?
On the 4th, it'll be at 7:30. No, 7 o'clock.
7
We
o'clock.
start serving free treats and refreshments at 7 o'clock.
And where is this going to be held
It
at?
will be at the atrium in the downtown Reading Promenade.
Okay.
You can find it at the website if you go to Viva Downtown Reading.
Okay.
You can find out information about it.
All right.
Okay. And do we need to move to our wish list here that we have?
So I think that probably the next thing we need to do is go to the wish list and just say that we're always looking for presenters and things that we'd like to see that we haven't had thus far. Anything in the fashion arts, anything in the how-tos, quirky ways of seeing the world, a child's or teen's perspective, cooking, culinary arts, baking, anything like that, cultural celebrations, hobbies like gold penning. I mean, really,
gold penning.
anything that you're interested and passionate about can be done here.
I'm passionate about my show.
There you go. You can talk about
this
doing
is
a
my
show.
artwork,
That's
and you guys
right.
are my canvas.
One of the first ones we ever saw, a bunch of artists got together and they took a theme about death, and they all created a picture, each one a staged picture of what death could look like.
Wow.
It was just fantastic. In fact, we're telling you what we'd like to have, but we would like to be surprised by someone going, I want to do
And
this.
we were surprised by one. I'll just take a quick minute to say that somebody called us and wanted to do one on silence. And we said, well, we don't know how silence is going to work with this particular format, but we worked with that person. We ended up using a gong as part of the sound. He did minimal talking, and it was wonderful. It was really good.
And before we are looking for volunteers, and we don't even know what we want them to do. Whatever they'd like to do, we need help with that. But we probably have some thank yous we need to do.
Yeah, I think we want to just kind of take a moment to thank some people. And first, I didn't have these people on my list at first, but I really want to thank those people that volunteered for the very first Pecha Kucha.
Wow.
And we've had quite a showing from Siskiyou County, and we're so excited about that. But let me just mention Nicholas Allen, Ajlan,
Nicholas Allen.
Nicholas
I just
Allen,
met him a couple weeks
Ajlan,
ago.
and so those folks that were willing to put themselves out there the first time, couldn't have done it without them. And thanks to Scott Valley Bank, great supporter and sponsor, Viva Downtown, and the Reading Downtown Business Association, and all these folks who just couldn't have done it without them. And thank you guys too for inviting us here to share it
Well,
with people.
let them all know that this will be on mctv15.org on Tuesday, 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m., and Friday at 6:37 p.m.
Okay.
Huh?
Great.
Okay.
So I guess that's it. Anything else you folks want to call out?
Well,
Always need
we'd
volunteers.
just like people to call us.
All
And
right.
go on and type in pechakucha.org and look at it all over the world and
Now, how is that
explore
spelled?
PECHAKUCHA.org. And it's
Okay.
online, I see there.
Yeah.
And explore the site. There's so many things. Also go to vivadowntownready.org. Tons of information about this.
Okay.
And think about it. I mean, anybody can present. A child can present. If they can read, they can present. I think anybody that is interested
little
or passionate
3-year-olds
about
out there.
anything,
Yeah.
sure,
Looking
why
for
not?
the 20-somethings, too.
Yeah.
Looking for the 20-somethings.
All right. I guess that's it. Again, we want people to volunteer for our cause and their cause. We need people for Wednesdays, and there's classes here that you can take for media communications on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for
Arthur.
bringing in
Appreciate
such a
it.
beautiful new adventure.
And we'll
It
see
is
you
an
up there
adventure.
presenting one of these times.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Oh, I could probably do something really interesting.
Yeah. You
Put
probably
little
want to be
pieces of
interested in
my
uppercut.
show together. All right, we got to wrap it up. Thank you again, folks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Arthur.
Enjoy your Mount Shasta view here.